Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And with the third anniversary quickly approaching, I figured now would be a good time to start revamping some of the guides for beginners, since we'll have probably a decent amount of new players coming in to try out the third anniversary and what it brings. So today we're going to be starting with the returning player guide. So this is not really geared towards new players. This is geared towards people who were playing for a year and then or took a year off or something and were not around for maybe most of 2024 because they had other things to do or other games to play, or they just didn't like the game anymore and wanted to come back and see if anything's changed. This video is geared more towards those type of players. Now, I will also lead with the caveat that we have yet to get any information about the third anniversary. It's currently, as of recording this, October 8th. It doesn't officially start until at least the 17th of October, so we have just over 10 under 10 days to get there. And any new gimmicks, new quality of life changes that get announced during the third anniversary obviously will not be covered here because they don't exist yet, and they'll have their own separate videos moving forward. So this is only things that have taken place over, I would say, the past year or so leading up to the third anniversary. The first, one of the biggest changes, is the addition of Chancellor unions or guilds or knighthoods or in-game groups or such things. They have now a 20-person union you can be a part of that has different kinds of benefits. You can give donations, you can give these ingots, you get these dragon spheres, and then you could use these dragon spheres to get passive rewards or active rewards from this analysis screen. Most everything that I talk about is going to have a video going over its dedicated thing in the video description down below. So I have a video on unions and explaining it more in depth, but just be aware that unions are now a thing with additional rewards. Next up is the enchantment of gear. So normally you would make your gear, you would enhance it by leveling it up and getting it awakened and such. And now there is an additional level of power up called enchantment, which allows you to RNG reroll some stats for your pieces of gear. They're going to differ between attack gear, defense gear, and your HP gear. And you can get, what is this? We've got equipped by a fire character, get a 10% attack. That's standard for a fire book. But then we have guard penetration, crit damage, attack buff, this dagger, 3% attack, 3% synergy power, 3% attack. It is a randomized 3 buffs that are ordered in gray, gold, and diamond rainbow rankings of how much power and how much effect they give. And you can apply them to any piece of gear. So this can take a standard earth book with 10% attack to a 36% crit damage book with 10% attack for earth, if you get good rolls. It's all RNG at this point. If you want to think of like Genshin and HSR's gear rerolling stuff, trying to get the max stats out, it's kind of comparable to that. I won't think as painful since it's only 3 stats instead of 5 of them that you got to worry about, but still. It's a new thing, and you can do it for attack gear, for defense gear to get extra defense, and HP gear for more attack or more evasion of such negative effects like bind or poison. Next, smaller change is the addition of the Predator Battle Bazaar. So if you remember, Predator Battle is the twice a day thing where you get random skill enhancement material to level up all your character skills. Now when you do this, you will get some of these little potion thingy bobbers, and you could get them, and then you could just straight up buy other skill enhancement materials, which is a good thing because sometimes you don't get a lot of rainbows, or any, in a week, if you're unlucky. But now that you get this currency, if you're running short on attack skills or defense skills, you can just straight up buy them, and I have enough to get 300 of these. So you do build this up over time, and if you're in a pinch because you don't have enough to level up some certain character that you just got, you could spend some currency to get these done here. I don't have a video going over this, so this is the explanation, and it's not very difficult to comprehend. We have the addition of 2 more building areas depending on when you started, the Bamboo Grove and the Tourism District. This is the most recent one to correlate with Season 3 of the anime. Bamboo Grove came out quite a while ago, technically, but still, maybe you weren't around for this. These are additional building areas, additional output buildings that give you food or gold or such things, and then enhancement buildings. And each of these areas come with their own kind of buff. So we can get the resonance change, which is for charms, which we will talk about. And then for the tourism district, we can get enchantment, which is something we talked about a little bit ago with the gear and the additional RNG stats. So each of these also introduces new characters you can talk to. You can see Ramers and Bretta were introduced here. Hinata and Masayuki were introduced in the tourism area, and it's just more places for you to customize your town if you like the nation building aspect of the game with additional population rewards and farmable resources and such things. All right, so what I mentioned just a little bit ago, the resonance for charms. So charms were introduced to give extra power to protectors. They're additional effects that can enhance your gameplay, whether it be a passive magicule gain for the farming, or you get free alt gauge, or each orb gives you a little bit extra of one of the other 3 gauges. You can get extra damage for, dark enemies, crit damage, pierce power, alt damage, etc. There are a number of different charms that have different things. But as you can see, some of them are glowing with character faces, and that is the resonance effect. So if we go to the space charm and we hit resonance change, we can apply it to any character that has a protector unit. So Emil's being the newest one, Isis being the free-to-play, anyone. So this space attack charm, I could, if I want to make a protector give a little bit extra damage to a space ally, I could do that for, Mirren. We could confirm this. And what it would do is these base stats right here, the HP, attack, and defense, it will be enhanced. They'll be upgraded when you resonate it to a certain character, but only for that character. It applies for multiple different types of that character. So if you have 3 different Rimarus, then you could do a charm and it will affect all 3 of them regardless, and you don't have to resonate every single one individually, which is very nice. But it's just a little bit extra basic stat gain for that protector, which equals extra stats for the rest of your team because the protector stats carry over and help your battle units. So it's just a little bit extra way to get some power out of it. You don't have to do it, but it does help. Next up are some slight changes to how protectors work. Traditionally, like if we look at an old stacking protector like Bazaar, it came out for the 1.5 anniversary. It's now 1.5 years later, essentially. So her Divine Protection gives the extra damage and then extra stats, and that is it. And then her skill stacks attack, gives you the 40 skill point increase every single time you use her, and then gives you extra skill points on blues. All right, that's pretty standard. Nowadays, with the introduction of Visions of Coleus Lumion going forward, the skill point gain, or the skill point increase, is attached to their passive. So now passively, no matter what you do, on turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn whatever, you will just get a 50 SP increase to your total cap. So turn 1, you would start with 100. Turn 2, you now have 150. Turn 3 is 200, so forth and so forth. And this allows them to put extra abilities on the actual protection skill of the character. So now we're getting attack stacks, guaranteed synergy, and still getting that extra skill point gain on blues. So it allows us to get a third effect here and still retaining the ability to increase our total SP cap. That's for stacking protectors. For burst characters, it works a little bit differently, where if we take a look at New Year's Shion, she just passively gives you 30 skill points for 4 turns. And if you remember using Toa or Hakuro, every time you use them, you would change the orbs to orange and you would get 40 skill points. Now, she still changes the orbs, but you just get 30 skill points at the start of every single turn, which actually makes things a lot easier to do. And it also allows them to put extra additional effects on their actual activatable skills. So it is a small change, but they do have more passive abilities now to make them easier to use. All right. Can't really show the next change because Jubilee is not currently active, so we're pulling it from the video. But they have revamped and changed how Heroes Jubilee works. The monthly ranking event where you take teams in, and you try and get the highest score possible, and you compete against people from your server to get the highest score. They changed this and they changed the rewards. There are now two different ranking styles between being top overall percentage, and then you get split up into localized groups, which are random, and you get extra rewards from there. So they split the rankings up, kind of made new rewards and split the rewards out, and they streamlined the entire event as a whole. Overall, after having our first Tempest Heroes Jubilee, quote unquote, is what they call it now, I do enjoy the format much more. So if you want to know more about it, you can just watch this video that's going to be linked in the description. Another big thing is that if you've made any progress previously in Valor Cup and you've gotten your rankings and all that, they did do a full-on reward reset 8 months ago in January. Well, 10 months ago, essentially. That was a weird number right there. But, normally you do Valor Cup, and then every single week you get reset back down a few, but you don't get any new rewards for climbing back up the ranks. Well, they reset everything at the beginning of the year and be like, all right, you want to climb again? Here's all the crystals, here's all the charms, here's all the free rewards. And it made it nice to get all those back again. So if you made any progress previously in Valor Cup and you come back and you're back to bitch rank 1, this is why. Another kind of quality of life thing they did is they updated the population buildings. So the things you build in town to get population, to progress the storyline, to build more things in your area, they made significant changes to the lower level buildings to make them easier to build, faster to build, therefore giving you a way to get your population higher in a faster amount of time so you can progress further in a shorter amount of time. So that's really good. And then if you have the Bamboo Grove already unlocked and you've built it, mine's empty, but they made significant increases to the amount of population that the buildings here would give, and it boosted it up by, if you had everything done, it was like an extra 7,000 population or something you just automatically got for free, and it busted all the rewards out, which was really fun and cool. But they did make significant changes just to help people get more population in a faster rate so you can continue to play the game more easily, I guess. And finally, the last thing that I can think of to talk about that would be a quote-unquote major big-time change is the addition of a new orb, a Soul of Unity, or as I like to call them, Rainbow Orbs. So Rainbow Orbs are very special because they exist as all three of the colors, blue, orange, and green. And you can use them to combo off of any normal combination. So if you have 6 blues, or you have 5 blues and a rainbow, you can send all 6. If you have 5 Rimuru orbs and a rainbow Xion orb, you can send all 6 of them without interrupting the combo. And they give you the maximum amount of gauge as if it was all 3 of those orbs. So if you send 6 rainbow orbs in a hand, that is the same as sending 6 oranges, 6 greens, and 6 blues. So you're getting maximum protection gauge off the blues, maximum skill points off the greens, and maximum alt gauge off the oranges, all wrapped up into one singular orb that can combo off of anything. So they are very, very powerful. Not a lot of characters have them. There's, I think, 3 battle units and now 1 brand new protector in a Mills that can do it, but they are very, very useful. So I think I'll link the Rimuru video as its example because he was the first one to introduce them. But those are the major things that I can think of that a returning player maybe might not have known about coming back to the game for the 3rd anniversary. If you're watching this video and you have any other new things that you want to make known that I didn't cover, please put them in the comments below. It's very possible that I missed something. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I hope you enjoy the 3rd anniversary.